Good morning, everyone. I'm Annalisa, and welcome back to Starlight News. This week's episode is going to be looking a little bit different than normal. Some time ago, we had the amazing opportunity to talk with Miss Lorena Germán, who is leading our faculty in creating an anti-racist community and curriculum here at ARS through her company, Multicultural Classroom. It was so amazing to be able to talk to her and gain some more insight on the work that she's doing. So we wanted to share a few highlights with you guys before we release a full interview on our YouTube channel. But we wanted to remind you guys to come into this video with an open mind and ready to learn and listen. And we recommend that afterwards you guys take some time to reflect.
My name is Lorena Germán, and I am a teacher. I've been a teacher middle and high school English. I love being in the classroom. I love talking, reading, writing, discussing books, analyzing them. And, at the same time, my identity and who I am plays a role in what I teach and why and how I teach it. So who I am is that I'm a woman, which, matters. I am Dominican. I was born in Dominican Republic. And so, I'm an immigrant and my first language was Spanish. All things that to me are assets and are great parts of who I am. And I'm fully aware that our society does not always see it that way. And so all of that, kind of shifted my attention and my work from being in the classroom to helping others that are in classrooms. And so I've been doing that really full time now for several months. And then two other things that I also do that I'm really proud of and I love talking about is, I am one of 4 women of color that are educators that started this movement called Disrupt Text, #DisruptText. It really took off because what we're asking and pushing English teachers in particular to do is to rethink their curriculum. What books are you teaching? Why those books? And how can we possibly reinvent the canon? All those classics that actually have a lot of bias. And when you look at that canon, it's very clear that a lot of people are left out of the voices that we teachers say matter. And then the other thing that I do too is there's a national organization for English teachers called NCTE, the National Council of Teachers of English. I chair the one that is the Committee Against Racism and Bias in the Teaching of English. So I think from my description of all these things, you can see that my work is all about the intersection of education, race, isms, right? Like all these different social issues and progress.
Wow, that was
a lot. That's a lot.
That's very impressive. Wow.
So our next question is what you usually focus on, which is how does racism manifest in a school setting or in the classroom?
Oh, that's like I can't even answer all of that, but I'll try a little bit. I think that there are several ways that we can see it. And the hard thing or the difficult thing is that sometimes when we're looking for racism, we're looking for stereotypical ways that it shows up. We're looking for the N-word, or we're looking for someone to specifically use racist language, or we're looking for, a Confederate flag that to us might symbolize racism. And the hard thing is that while those are, really physical demonstrations of it, there are also subtle demonstrations of racism that really come out in culture. And culture is a thing that is hard to pinpoint because we're all a part of it. And this is just how we do it here, right? And by here, I mean the school or that classroom. And so it's hard to those of us that are in it to try to look around and make sense of it and pull out this is racism, or this is sexism, or this is, homophobic or whatever, because you're so in it. All of that is to say that, culture, I think, is one of the biggest ways that we see racism in schools. And by culture, I mean policies. What are some of the rules at this school? Do they support one culture over others? Do they mimic racist ideas that our society has created? right? So policy, curriculum, what are we teaching? Is it focused on truth? Do we want to make sure that our young people at this school are going to graduate and have a true understanding of history, of reality, of each other, right? So curriculum, policy, and then there's also the like representation, like who is at this school? Like, do communities of color feel like they can be here, that they are welcome here, that they can succeed here, that they belong here? Those are just some of the ways when it comes to culture that schools, manifest it. Again, in addition to the other very tangible, just tensions, even among students, the types of things people say to each other, the cliques and the groups and how all that works out, right?
Yeah, of course. What are your goals for the ARS community, and how do you measure a community's improvement?
Yeah, great. So we have several goals. We have several projects that we're doing with ARS. So first is the work with teachers. And some of those goals are, one, help them reflect on their own practices, like what they're doing, what they're bringing, how they're designing things, and then help them have skills, better skills, more skills, a larger box of skills to bring into the classroom to work with all of you, right? So there's the work for them, then there's the work that they're going to do with you. So those are like two goals with teachers. And then, the big survey that has just gone out that I hope you all take and you encourage others to take, that is really going to be super informative, because what we're going to do with that is assess culture. Remember how I said at the beginning that culture sometimes is hard to pinpoint, but this survey actually asks a series of questions that will help us to try to turn feelings, ideas, inclinations into numbers. And we can say, this many students feel this way. This many parents feel this way. And so my goal, or our goal at Multicultural Classroom through this survey, is to help the school identify what their strengths are, but also what their areas of growth are, to come up with strategies to address those areas of growth and see some really positive change in terms of like being inclusive of all the identities present in your community.
Why is it important for us to start acting now?
Oh, well, first of all, we're late, if I'm being honest, right? And I don't even say that about ARS. This is a national problem. The country is late. We are late at this whole conversation and trying to rectify racism. And we should have been doing this maybe, 100 years ago. And then also, why now? Because why not now? Do we need to wait for something else? Do we need to wait for more murders of people on the street? Do we need to wait for someone in Austin from ARS to die at the hands of police that we loved and know in order to care? So why not now? And we're late. And also because now is the time. Because now is the time. There is not a better time than right now to have conversations about making sure that everybody feels welcome, to make sure that we are taking anti-racist actions in different areas, in all areas of our lives. And tomorrow's going to be too late too. And we have to do this right now,
What can students do to contribute to the anti-racist cause? How can we kind of conduct ourselves during those conversations? And going back to how can we contribute to that?
Yeah. Number one, don't let this topic rest, even if the media has let it rest, even if your friends have let it rest, because it is exhausting. I get it, but we just can't stop. The other thing that students can do and contribute is coming in with a critical eye to your classes. Hey, Ms. Johnson, I am noticing that up on these walls, there is no one in here that looks like me. Not to sow discord, but to just be like, hey, I'm noticing something. So we need our young people to be really critical and thoughtful and speak up. Just follow your conviction, right? When you're in that conversation, like you in that moment are alone, or maybe in that space are alone, but you're not alone in this country. You're not alone in the city of Austin. You're not alone in your school community. So fight for what is right. Speak up for what is right. It's never whack, right? Like it is never a bad thing.
We are so appreciative that we had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Germán and share this interview with you. We hope that her words moved you as much as they moved us. And now, as we continue on to our Woman of the Week, we want to again stress the importance of social activism. So this week, our Woman of the Week is someone who was an influential leader in the Kenyan environmental movement and was the founder of the Green Belt movement. Who do you think it is?
Wangari Maathai was an environmental activist from Kenya. She was born April 1st, 1940 in Nyeri, Kenya. She was the first woman ever from Central and East Africa to receive a doctorate's degree, which she had obtained from the University of Nairobi, where she taught veterinary anatomy. She was the founder of the Green Belt movement, which is an indigenous, non-governmental organization in Nairobi, Kenya that has planted 51 million trees since its founding in 1977. She also wrote 4 books about her life and her work, was appointed Assistant Minister for Environment and Natural Resources, and in 2004 she was a recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in conservation, democracy, and peace. Sadly, she had passed away in 2011 due to cancer. Maathai's dedication to protecting the environment is an inspiration to us all when we're passionate about a social issue. Taking action is important and can inflict change in our communities and in our world.
So this week, we urge you to think about a social issue you're passionate about and think about one way you can take action. As always, we want to leave you with a quote from our Woman of the Week to give you some more inspiration. Maathai said, "Human rights are not things you put on the table for people to enjoy. These are things you fight for and then you protect."
Thank you guys for watching another episode of Starlight News. Finally, we wanted to end with some announcements and good news. So last Friday, the Ann Richards Stars took on McCallum and they beat them in 3 sets. So good job to the volleyball team. They have 2 more important games coming up this week. They play at Tuesday at Anderson and Friday at Travis. So make sure you go follow the Instagram page so you can watch and support them from home. Also, our Starfish had a meet a couple weeks ago, and so we wanted to give you guys a shout out and know that your hard work is being recognized. We also have our first round of senior speeches coming out this week. So on Tuesday, be on the lookout for Elizabeth's speech. Wednesday, we have Francesca. Thursday is Alexa. And Friday is Emmy. So make sure you guys come back and check out their speeches. Finally, we just wanted to remind you guys that the full interview with Mr. Maine will be posted soon. So make sure you come back and check it out. Have a great rest of your week, stars.